Hello, Team Hot. Welcome to Chef AshleyDene's Sunday dinner. Trying to do more videos with you all, showcasing my cooking and all the good parts. So, today we are doing mashed potatoes. I'm actually making more than one meal right now, but I'm doing mashed potatoes. I'm gonna have some asparagus, and oh, you can't see it because it's reflecting. But we're gonna have some chicken as well. So what I'm gonna start with, you always start with what takes the longer time to cook. So I already cut up my red potatoes, and I am going to put those lovely items into the pan. Works better when I let it stick. And then I'm gonna add water to that. I have already cleaned them off. I'm using red potatoes, so you may see a little skin, which is actually the beauty of why I like the red potatoes, because you do not need to peel the skin. And those are our chickens, cleaned and rinsed and ready to go. Another tip, you want to make your mashed potatoes flavorful, you can add chicken broth instead of water. I would wait till they boil a little bit until they get soft before you do that. But then once they're at that point, and we're going to keep them on medium to low heat, just because we're going to be doing other things and you don't want that to go bad while you're doing it. Woo. And I'm going to add a little Lorry's to the water. And you just want to make sure you watch that as you go. I'm going to go ahead and rinse off our cutting board so that we can put that over there and go to the new one for chicken. Don't cross-contaminate. Even if you're at home, you know, we tend to be a little bit more free when we're cooking from home, but you want to make sure you are still cooking clean. You know, you don't want to make anybody sick. So I am going to be doing two different types of chicken because my mother prefers chicken thighs. That is not my favorite thing. But I do use them, but I tend to do them without skin. I'm going to go ahead and turn my skillet on. And turn that on low and let that get hot. And then we're going to go ahead and season the chicken. Well, let's talk about the asparagus. So the asparagus, if you see, quick trick for asparagus, just let it sit in olive oil and Italian salad dressing. You don't even really need to do anything else to it. But I like to, you know, we cook with flavor over here, honey. So I'm gonna add a little salt and garlic. And usually when I'm doing it like all for myself, I tend to add, that's the Lorry's. Let's go up so you can see it. There we go. You always want to have it up so that you're lightly sprinkling. I'm a seasoning bandit, so season to your desired space of taste. Asparagus to me has like a very interesting taste and flavor. So sometimes I like to mask it, but I still want to taste the asparagus. So that's just a little garlic, and then I'm gonna do a little onion pepper. I add red pepper flakes when I'm making it just by myself, fresh onions, bell peppers, but my mom did not be here for all of that. And I already have the oven on 350, so I'm gonna put that into the oven on the top shelf. And you're gonna watch that because you do not want your asparagus to overcook. And I'm gonna have to do it this way because the lighting in my house is always such an interesting feat that I have to deal with, like how to cook and be able to see. So I'm gonna season the chicken thighs first because as you see, those are chicken thighs with the skin on. I've already cleaned under the skin. You see no slime because it's already been cleaned. Do not give people chicken that you have not cleaned under the skin, honey. Like, don't do that to your people. Just don't do it to them. We're going to turn that. There we go. My new little knife set. Isn't it so cute? Thanks, Mom. It's really our house set, but it's still for me because I'm going to be the one using it. So, one thing, I'm going to grab the flour. There we go. So we got our potatoes boiling with a little Lori's. And now, again, because I'm doing this for my mom, I'm not going to heavily season these. And my trick, pull the skin and get up under there so that while it's cooking, you get a little of that flavor in the skin. So we did a little Lori's. We did a little onion. And remember, your skillet is on low so that it is warming up as you prepare your chicken. And I love to add a little rosemary to this dish. Let me tell you, rosemary has become my new best friend. I love her. And so then we're going to flip her. And we're going to season the back. Hoo, hoo, hoo. You want that flavor to just sit in your chicken. Hey. And end it with a little rosemary. If I were doing it for myself, I would add black pepper, and probably some red pepper flakes and some smoked paprika. And I almost forgot my favoriteest ingredient, my turmeric, because I put that on everything. It will make your food a little yellow, but it is okay, honey. I'm going to now, since my skillet is hot. Yeah, strut the catwalk. Just gonna lightly do that so it coats the bottom. And you see how you know my pan is hot? You see how it's trickling, thinning itself out? That's the key. Hey. Woo. Hey. Yeah. And it's just not as hot as I would like it yet, but it's getting there. Come on and be stuck in the middle. Woo! All right, I was debating if I wanted to do both at the same time. I do. Lying. So what I'm going to do is make a little bit of room so that I can go ahead and show you all how I season my own chicken. But I'm just going to rinse off or wash off rather, the cutting board, just so it's no cross contamination. And there is soap in that water, honey. That way I could season both the chickens at the same time. And again, if I was just doing this for like an order, I would probably do this all at once. But because I'm doing it for my mom as well, and this chicken was in a bag because I just wanted to do some little wings real quick. I've been wanting like some hot wings for a while. You still rinse that chicken off. Let's be clear. I'm just double checking. There's nothing left on there. And now we're going to get to that. What? Turn your skillet on low. So, show you how I do this thing. That's a little Lori's. Again, it's up high, so it's going to spread itself around, I still add turmeric because it really is healthy for you. A little black pepper. And since these are for me, they're gonna have a little kick to it. Honey, I'm still gonna add a little rosemary. As my mother says, I over-season food, but it be good to me, girl. A little onion. And because I'm gonna do both sides, that's like the key. And now we adding a little smoked paprika. For people that want to ask me how much seasoning do I put in something, I would never be able to tell you, honey, because I cook with how I feel. That's a little garlic powder. Woo! And because I wanted to add a little hickory to it, I'm doing a little quick maple and hickory seasoning. Honey, these wings gonna be so good, child. And because I don't want to lose my flavor, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the pan that they will be going in. And I'm using the rack so that they can get a little grill feel. Woohoo! I got too many chickens, they're not gonna fit on here, child. So you can see it. I told you that glare, honey. That glare be real. Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that so I can move her over, honey. And remember, our oven is already on 350. So we just gonna go over her on the other side with the little Lorries, a little garlic, honey. And I like my wings to have a crunch on the skin, honey. I can't stand for slimy chicken. That is just, I get baked chicken, it's supposed to be softer. Honey, I don't do slimy. And our potatoes have started to boil, so I'm going to turn that the heat down rather, not the water. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, honey. Woo. That was onion, a little turmeric on her. I need to go get some more fresh turmeric. A little smoked paprika, that's gonna give me a heat. And it's also gonna give me the color I desire. I like a little golden brown. And we're gonna end her with that hickory, honey. Woo! And then she is ready for the honey. The oven, which apparently I need to move the rack down because I just cleaned the oven out the other day. You see, she is so nice and clean. Look at her. She needed some love too, honey. And I am going to put her in. Ooh, I smell that seasoning alone, child. I put her on the bottom because I want her to get a little bit more heat than everything else. I had turned this off so I don't burn the grease. So now she's still hot like I need her to be. Those potatoes back there boiling. Asparagus is in there. Now we ready for the chicken thighs. Now we ready for the chicken thighs. So the potatoes, I'm going to be making mashed potatoes. And this is a quick meal. I'm gonna lightly flour, not heavy. Just lightly flour her, just dust her with the flour. Ooh-wee, and I hear my grease popping. So she is ready for this chicken. Now you want to make sure you keep your skin on there, honey. I like to put her skin down first, so I'm going to flip her over and lightly flour her on that side. Honey. Ooh. I put a little bit more on the skin side just because the skin is going, we want that a little crispy, but we don't want her hard because my mother will have a fit. Okay, so now that we got the skin side, take it right into the skillet. Woo. And don't be afraid of the seasoning and that flour, honey, because that's going to give you the flavor. And so I usually do this meal a few ways, but I always say this is a quick meal because this is when I use frozen, honey. You could do the fresh veggies. You really can. I gotta close this curtain because the sunlight giving me too much. There we go. No, we don't even want that light. Oh my God. Woo. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil, only because my floor in my house is a little bit uneven. But you just want to make sure you lightly, you do not need to over grease your food, but you also don't want to burn. So you want that oil to just coat the bottom. It's almost like frying, but it's not because we're pan searing. So we're going to let her get brown on that side a little bit. Then we're going to flip her. And chicken thighs do not take that long to cook, honey. All right, there we go. I hope this is a good idea to put this stand on here. We'll find out in a second if she starts burning. Then we'll know. We got a little bit of coating on there. But remember, you're going to cook her for a while. Not a long while, but a little while. But I'm actually going to flip those back over. I want them a little bit more brown. And you want to keep the chicken together, which is why I am using my tongs. Because that skin, because if you clean it properly, that skin should separate a little bit. And that's like, you could dip her in egg or whatever. I just like my skin to be a little brown. Little brown, little brown. And because now I am able to pay more attention, I'm going to turn that heat up on those potatoes a little bit. Because we just want to mash them. We want them to be very soft so they're easy to mash. So you can turn that heat up, just make sure you're watching it. And now I'm going to check my asparagus so that I can give it a little toss. And actually, she is still good. I do add olive oil to that mix. Again, because you don't want your food to stick. But not over accessing it with oil. So I'll let you guys see where we're at with her. You see that? You want that movement. Whew. And I like to get the big asparagus because they cook down and they shrink. And that's just not what you always want. You know? But honey, I smell that chicken. And remember, this is something quick you can make at home for family. You can make it with your kids. Ooh, yeah. See, that's what you want. That's what you want. Give it to me, baby, like boom, boom, boom. And I like, that's how you get your little gravy mix down there. I don't like nothing to burn. But that seasoning, baby. Woohoo! If you feel like that part of your pan is getting the hottest, put the meat directly on there, because this is not a cook all day meal. Have to turn this exhaust on, honey. I'm going to apologize now for the noise of her. But she got to go on because I'm frying. I'll turn her off when I say something important. And I am cooking this on low, because I'm not frying this, I'm just pan searing it. And you see that chicken, you can see it under that skin. It's turning from that pinkish color to white. That's what you want to see. But you don't want her to be overdone. And because it's a thigh, I like to do this, so she gets all the heat, honey. I'll sit her there so she gets all that flavor. I tend to sit them up on all sides. That's my thing. I'm just real picky about how chicken comes out. I really have like a whole thing about like not having slimy chicken. It's a childhood story I won't tell y'all. And thighs do not take that long. So that's why I call this a quick meal. I sometimes do her with like broccoli, and I would put the broccoli in at this point, because broccoli takes longer to cook. So that's how I would do her. But honey, we're gonna turn her over again. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, yeah. She's almost done, honey. And you can see on that inside. And the chicken it's almost done. You do not want to overcook your food, or undercook it for that matter. Ooh. But I will go ahead and start prepping my other ingredients. I use a cream of chicken in this, and the veggies, because she's a little meatier on that bottom side. I'm going to just stand her up again, just so I know that chicken is done. But also keep mixing in that little gravy down there, because that flavor is going to go in, honey, and she going to be good. See what I'm saying? That's what I like to see. All the way over. Turn her again. This one, she's not as thick, so she's pretty much done. Yes, honey. And it's okay if she gets a little brown. Brown is good to go. Yeah. She good to go, honey. And so, I'm going to turn her down. Down. And cook her on the low. And this is darker than I would like, so I'm going to get rid of that. So what we're going to do, honey, is going to take our chicken and take her out. Yes. And we're going to pour that grease off. And then we're going to put her back in the skillet. We just don't want that burnt grease. It tends to make your food taste like it's burnt. Going to get another holder because that was hot. Give her a little whirl. little fresh oil, just to again get that burntness out. Now we can add our chicken back to the skillet. And I'm gonna put this lovely little thing down so I can use both hands. So now our chicken is in there. She's on low. She's done. We're gonna add in our mixed veggies. So once you add in your mixed veggies, you can kind of put your chicken to one side and let the veggies sit majority on the other side, and just kind of toss them a little bit because there's still that grease and that flavor in there. Ooh-wee. I do not have to add any salt or anything. I'm just going to add a little rosemary, just because that's the flavor of the month. Yes, and you see that? They are quickly. And they were frozen, straight out the frozen bag. I didn't do anything special to them. Because again, you don't have to over season everything. It's okay to eat the food as it is. And it's tossed in that grease that had that chicken, so that's gonna have all the flavor it needs, honey. All the flavor it needs. And those potatoes is getting, you see that little whiteness that you're seeing? That's letting you know it's getting tender and soft. So you'll be good to go. You feel me? There we go. So my skillet is on low. You can see those veggies, they have oil on them. I didn't add nothing extra. That's just from the pan. If you want to add a little salt and pepper or onion to yours, it is your preference. But this is my quick meal, and the flavor, honey, is in the pan, okay? It is in the pan because you just cooked that chicken in there. You're letting that chicken do its thing with the cooking slowly, so you don't have to worry about your chicken. And you see that? Ooh, that chicken is gonna be so good. Yes, honey. And when you start seeing those vegetables start to look like they're sweating and have a little gloss, honey, they done because they've been pre-cooked because they was frozen. All right, now we're gonna add, I'm gonna let it cook for 2 more minutes, but I add a little garlic just because it's my favorite, and a little turmeric because it's for my mama. And we fighting inflammation over here. Hey. And just toss those and let that cook for 2 more little minutes. And while that's doing that, and see, this is like your chicken is still cooking. It's on low. It's not burning because you took that bad grease out. We're going to check that asparagus. She's looking good. She's been in there for about 10 minutes. We're going to flip her in a second. Oh, gosh, I can smell that. Woo! I'll be hurting myself, child. Now we're going to add the cream of chicken in. And it's going to make like its own little gravy. Honey, honey, pie. And you want to get that last little juicy goodness out of there. So I'm going to add a little water to the can. that it came up out of, because we want this to be like a cream of chicken style broth gravy that we're making. So this lovely tool that ooh-wee. Yeah, look at that. And I took a little bit of that oil that we took off, minus the charred pieces, just to add a little oil to that mix. There you go. So you get to see it. And then you're going to just let that toss. You see the oil, because I took out that burnt part, but you see how it's giving you that brown flavor or brown color. Not brown flavor, brown color. All right. And then once I mix this all in together, and I mean mix it all in so that everything gets all that goodness. Ooh, look at that. That's that seasoning with the oil mix and a little water to loosen it up a little bit. Oh, let me tell you. And yep, I'm covering the chicken because it's going to be like its own sauce. Oh my goodness. You see that seasoning showing up because it's in the pan, honey. It's in the skillet. So this is what I mean, like it's a quick meal. And you just let that sit in that sauce with the veggies for about 5 minutes on low. And so when you see it bubbling, that means it's good to go. Now you can loosen this up if you choose a little bit more. I want it a little heavier, but I will probably add just a little bit of water, not a lot, just to thin that out a little bit, because that gravy is going to go over those mashed potatoes. So I'm going to just thin that out a little bit. Not a lot of water. You want to add it as you go. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Yeah, you see that soupy essence where it's enough, it's thick enough, but not too thick, not too thin. Honey, and you can do this and put this in the freezer and come back and eat this another day. Honey, that flavor will just be sat in there and it will just be delicious. Oh. It's like you made quick smothered chicken without all the extra grease and everything. Good alternative. We're going to check our potatoes with a fork and see what they feel like. Oh yeah, potatoes done. So we're going to go ahead and pour that water off of those. Let's clear up some space in this sink. Things you do. I hope you all are being blessed and taking care of yourself mentally and physically during this change in life. So here's the thing. I leave a little bit of water down in there. Not a lot. Oh, that smells good. Or you could replace it, like I said, with the chicken broth. But you see, it's barely any water in there. I'm going to actually pull that to the front. And I'll let that sit there for a second. This is like the thing, learning the angles. So now I'm going to add the butter. So this is one way of cooking live. I think I like doing it the other way where people can kind of see me a little bit. I don't know why I think that adds something, but it does. So I'm adding a little butter. I'm adding a little onion powder. A little bit of Lorry's and garlic powder. Oh God, it's like the seasonings alone just smell so divine to me. Seriously, like, whew. And I'm adding a little heavy whipping cream because I want them to be mashed potatoes. Okay? Mashed potatoes. And you see, if you cook them well, ha 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 ha. I will say that's a little bit more liquid than I would like right now, but it's okay. I know how to thicken it back up. And as it sits, it'll thicken up a little bit as well. But now, since I've got the moisture in there, I'll go ahead and start whipping them. See that? How soft they are? Quick whippage. Quick. Ooh-wee. See that? And I did not make a lot because it's just me and my mom. And honey, I just end up wasting food, child. Because I be done cooked it, child. Look at that. See, this is why I don't measure. You can add you some chives in here. I personally usually use fresh garlic, but this is just me doing a little quicker cooking for those who do not want to do all that extra that I like to do, which is cooking it live and with fresh ingredients. But I did use fresh seasonings. Nothing instant. These were regular potatoes. And I'm going to add a little bit more butter to them. Because my mom always asks, did you put butter in it? And I'm like, yes, honey, it's butter in there. I'm going to turn that skillet off because you see that bubbling. So you know that means it has thinned itself out. Exactly how we want. And now we got gravy for the mashed potatoes. Woo! Honey, they talk about Trump every day. Meanwhile, Trump is not thinking about any of us. None of us. Do you hear me? So, and this is making potatoes from scratch. You want garlicky potatoes, add more garlic. You can top it with chives, like I said. And you see, we good to go. That butter is in there. Cause smell them, they smell delicious. That's how your grandmama used to do it. Except she didn't have this silver pan. She had that cast iron skillet, honey. And she was making them like whipping it. I like a little lumps, but not a lot. The lumps let you know it's real potatoes, not that instant or that bag, honey. And they just tasty. So now we're gonna taste that, honey. Add a little bit more salt. And a little bit more garlic powder for me. But you still gotta whip it all in. Ooh wee. Honey. Honey. Ooh. Yes, honey. That's all you need, honey. That's all you need, honey. Add a little bit more butter to that. And you see I did not put a lot of moisture in here, and they are still like ready to go. That heavy whipping cream is gonna thicken it up, honey. I'm just adding the butter, honey, because Sharon likes a lot of butter. Okay? But you see the more, see they just becoming more whipped. Ooh wee. Honey, and that's perfect. Oh my God. I'm gonna add a little bit more garlic though. Just because that's my preference. I like garlic mashed potatoes. Honey. And we can set her to the side. And she's ready to go, honey. Look at that. Lord God. Lord God. Now we're going to check this asparagus and flip her over. See, that chicken is still in there cooking, honey. I cook my chicken for about an hour like that. Because, again, I want my skin to have a crunch, honey. I want her to have a crunch. And you just, ooh, she's almost done. Again, you don't want to overcook them. They should still, like, look at that. If you could squeeze through it, it's overcooked. Honey, she shrunk a little bit in size. That's why I like to get the bigger ones. And I'm going to put her back in there for 5 minutes. Honey, at this point, this is where you want to watch them. Because you do not want to overcook her. You want to taste the asparagus. You want them chewy with a bite. And we are done with the meal one. Our second meal will be done in about an hour. The asparagus should be done in about 5 minutes. Mashed potatoes is whipped and done. And this is how you cook hot. Fresh ingredients, fresh-ish today, because we did use frozen veggies. It's not usually my go-to, but for this meal, I always do because I don't want the vegetables to be overcooked in the gravy. But that is a quick, healthy smothered chicken. And it was quick. We at 43. See you guys next time. Stay hot.